In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the radiator cooling fan on your Chevy Malibu. This is going to be located behind the front bumper. Let's get started. Before beginning this job, be sure to bring your car down to the local shop and have them evacuate your AC system. Using a 10mm socket, we're going to remove the negative cable from the battery. Loosen it up, pull it off. You can throw a rag around it or something. Just make sure it's not going to contact that negative post again. Using a 10mm, we're going to remove the 7 bolts for the front bumper. You're going to have 2, one on either side on these outsides. Remove the bolt. Do the same thing on the other side. Continue down the front, removing the bolts. One more right here. And do the same thing on the other side. Using a 7mm socket, we're going to remove the 3 bolts inside our inner fender liner. On the bottom side of the bumper, we're going to have a few more screws to take out. Using a 7mm socket. I'm going to remove the one on the corner. Remove those 3. Now our inner fender liner should freely float. Remove the 5 7mm bolts that are on the bottom of this splash guard. We have one more in this corner. Get your hand in between the bumper and the fender liner and pull that fender liner back. Right in the top, right on this seam, you're going to find a 7mm bolt. Go ahead and remove that bolt. And we can pop our bumper out of the bracket. Do the same thing on the other side. Reach inside of the fender liner and find your connector. There's a red tab. That's a lock. Go ahead and pick that lock up. Push on that tab. Push on that tab and pull straight back. Remove the connector. Do the same thing on the other side. Pull the bumper out. Do the same thing on the top side. Do the same thing on the other side. Using a T15 bit, we're going to go through the front and remove all of the bolts. Remove the 2 trim pieces, pull the bumper forward, then remove the bumper. Using a trim tool, we're going to remove the 2 clips on the front, pop the clip up and remove it. Do the same thing on the other side. Remove that top cover. Remove the clip that's holding in the airbox tube. Be sure that you don't let this clip fall down there. Remove the two 7mm bolts for the hood latch. Flop that over to the side. Remove the two 10mm bolts on that hood latch bracket. And one more 7mm bolt on the front of the bumper support. Remove the assembly. Pop up right on here. There's a little plastic clip on bottom. Remove the connector off the sensor for our condenser. We're going to push up on that tab and pull straight back. Using a 13mm socket, we're going to remove the nut for the lines. Remove the lines out of the condenser. Remove the 10mm bolt and nut for the top isolator. Do the same thing on the other side. On either side, there's going to be a locking tab on our condenser. We're going to push up on this plastic tab using a trim tool or a flat blade screwdriver. Gently press up on this. As you do that, we're going to push forward on the condenser, pulling it out of that lock, and we'll go do the same thing on the other side. Pop it out of place. Tilt your condenser forward. We'll have to move a few of these rubber shields out of the way that are just air dams. And remove the condenser. On either side, you're going to have one of these clips. You can push it down with your finger or a small tool. Push the clip down and pull forward on that plastic, and it'll pop off. We're going to go do the same thing on the other side. Using a 7mm socket, we're going to remove the two screws on either side of the front of this bumper support for our plastic. Remove that and just pull it down out of the way. We just need a little more room. Do the same thing on the other side. Pull this bottom trim straight forward, and it'll pop the clip off. Go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Ours is broken, so it just popped right off. You can either leave this off to the side, or you can remove the harness. Push back on the red tab for the connector, and then we're going to push on that black and remove it. Use a trim tool and pop that plastic clip out and remove our trim piece. Pull your plastic trim forward, and you can pull it out through the bottom. Reaching down on the side of the intercooler, there's a plastic clip for a harness. We're going to use a trim tool and pop that out. We have one that looks the exact same on the other side. Go ahead and remove that as well. On either side of the intercooler, you're going to have a 10mm bolt. Go ahead and remove those. There's one, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. We have a connector on the front of our intercooler. We have a locking tab on top. We're going to push that back, push on the connector, and remove it. We're going to have two spring clamps here on our intercooler pipe. To remove these, we're going to pop up on either side. I'm gonna leave my pick in there and I'm gonna continue holding down on this other. And we're gonna push in and then pull out and remove our intercooler pipe. These can get pretty stuck. If you're getting real stuck, push this harder onto the pipe, pull these clips off, and then pull it off. Do the same thing on the other side. Lift straight up, pop the intercooler out of its brackets. I'm gonna move those lines out of the way, drop it down, and remove the intercooler. On the bottom left of your radiator, you're gonna find your petcock. We're gonna go up there, and we're gonna turn that counterclockwise. Be sure you have a coolant bucket under you, and we'll start to drain the coolant. Once the radiator is done draining, reach up and close the petcock on the radiator. Using a pair of pliers, we're going to remove the hose clamp for the upper radiator hose. Squeeze the clamp together, push it back. Remove the hose off the radiator. On the bottom left of the radiator, we're going to find another hose clamp. We're going to do the same thing as the other side. Remove the radiator hose off of the radiator. Be sure you have a collection bucket under you. There may be still fluid in here. Using a 10mm socket, we're going to remove the nut for the ground strap. Pull the ground strap off of that pole. We're going to disconnect the connector for the fan. On this back side, you're going to have a little push button. Go ahead and push on that, pull straight back, and remove that connector. Under our upper radiator hose, we're going to find one more connector. We're going to push down on that red lock, and right here there's going to be a tab we're going to push on, and then push down on the connector and remove it. Push down on that connector. And remove it. Looking straight down the back of the fan, you're going to find a white clip holding the transmission cooler lines. We're going to use a trim tool and pop that white clip out of our fan shroud. Remove the white clip. We're going to remove the transmission line off of our radiator. To do this, we're going to pop this plastic cap, and under that we're going to find a metal clip. Using a set of small picks, I'm going to pull up on this clip. You want to be very careful with this clip because it will spring out of here. It is very hard to find. Remove the clip. Pull the line out of the radiator. Do the same thing on the bottom hose. Pull that plastic clip back. Push that clip off and remove it. Remove the line out of the radiator. Remove the 10mm bolt for the air duct. Remove the bolt for the air duct. Pull the air duct forward and drop it down, and this should give us enough room to get our radiator and fan out. Using a plastic trim tool, we're going to remove the clip for our plastic trim. Remove the clip, remove the little trim, and do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to pull that airbox attachment forward as we can. Tip the radiator and fan assembly forward. Lift up and remove the radiator. Using a clip tool, we're going to remove the electrical clip harness holders from the radiator. We have one more on the other side. Using a trim tool, we're going to pop the clip off the bottom of our radiator and fan assembly. Remove the two 10mm bolts for the fan. These are going to be located on either side. Do that same thing on the other. Once you've removed those two bolts, lift up, push up, and remove the fan assembly. Go around removing all of the clips for the fan harness. We're going to use a trim tool, just pop them up. On our last connection, we're just going to remove the connector, push down on this top tab, push straight back, and remove the harness from the fan assembly. We're going to install the harness into our fan assembly. Install the connector, push until you hear a click, give it a pull, make sure it's locked on there. Install the fan into the radiator. We're going to drop it down into those two tabs on the bottom. And then on the top, we're going to push those two clips onto our radiator. Install the 10mm bolts, snug them down. Install the harness. Do the same thing on the other side. Install the metal clip on the bottom from the fan to the radiator. Install the radiator and fan assembly down into place. Drop the grommets down into their brackets and push the radiator assembly back into place. We're going to install the two connectors for our fan assembly. Push it up into place, close that locking tab, install the top connector, push until you hear that click, install the ground strap onto that pole, install the nut, and snug it down. Get it nice and tight. We're going to install the transmission line, line it up, push it into place. Since we have new clips, they'll clip right around. And we can push that plastic piece over. Be sure the line is fully installed, and then install your plastic capture. Do the same thing on the bottom. Install that transmission line. Be sure the line's fully installed. With the line fully installed, pull that plastic piece over. Install the lower radiator hose onto the radiator. Grab the clamp, pull it into place, and be sure that hose is fully seated on the radiator, and clamp it into place. Install the upper radiator hose onto the radiator. Pinch the clamp, pull it over the radiator hose, make sure it's seated. And sitting nice and square. Drop the intercooler down into place, being sure that the ears on the back line up with the receiving ears on the radiator. Push the intercooler back into place and install the 10mm bolts on either side. Get them started by hand and then snug them down. Install the top radiator brackets into place. Get the bolts started. And get the nuts started as well. And do the same thing on the other side. Snug them all down. We're going to install the two hoses onto the intercooler. Pull these forward until they click into place. Make sure that these tabs go down. If they're not fully seated, that means this hose is not fully connected. Once everything pops down into place, go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Push your air box back into place. Grab your bolt and get it started. Snug it down. Install the side plastic pieces, install the clip, push it down, and do the same thing on the other side. Install the plastic trim for the condenser, up and through. Drop the ears into place on both of the lower tabs. Push the top into place, and those will snap into the tabs. Install the connector. Push down until you hear that click. Install the condenser down into place. Line it up and push it into place. Give a check to the O-rings that are on your condenser lines. Be sure there's no rips, tears. Install the 2 lines into the condenser. Install the nut. Snug the nut down nice and tight. Grab your connector. Install it onto the sensor. Push until you hear that click. Give it a pull. Make sure it's locked on. Torque the nut to 16 foot-pounds. Install the lower air dam. Push those clips into place. Install the screws for the air dam. Do this on both sides. Install the connector. Push down until you hear that click. Close that locking tab. Install the upper air dam into place. We're going to have these clips on either side. Push them down into place into those plastic pieces. Install the 2 10mm bolts through the top. Snug them down. We're going to install the 2 screws for the hood latch lever. Snug them down. Install the screw for the front of that air dam. Install the top trim down into place. Make sure it's sitting under that hood latch lever. Install the 10mm bolts for the top trim piece. Snug them all down. Get the bumper in front of the car. We're going to install the connectors for our lights on either side. Grab the connector, line it up, push until you hear a click. Push that locking tab down. Make sure it won't go anywhere. Do the same thing on the other side. Lift the bumper up and into place. Lining up your brackets on both sides. Install the bolt through the back of the fender into the bumper. Get it started by hand. Snug the bolt down. Do the same thing on the other side. Install the 2 top valence trim panels. Go down the line and install all of your Torx bolts. Go down the line, snugging down all of the bolts. We had one more 10mm bolt right in the middle here. Get that started by hand and snug it down. Peel the fender liner back, reach up and install the 7mm screw. Get it started by hand and snug it down. Push the fender liner up into place, tuck it inside of that bumper. Repeat that process on the other side. Install the bolts through the fender liner into that bumper cover. Snug them all down. Go down the line and install all the bolts that we took out of the fender liner and bumper cover. Install the clip on the bottom side, lock it down, install the negative battery terminal, snug it down, give it a wiggle, make sure it doesn't go anywhere. Remove the cap on the coolant bottle. We're going to install a coolant funnel onto our coolant bottle. We're going to fill our reservoir. Be sure you use the manufacturer specified coolant and fill the bottle to the max mark. Once you have your coolant bottle at the max mark, go ahead and remove your coolant funnel. Install the cap. Now you're going to run your car for about 40-45 minutes until all of the coolant is bled. Come back, check this bottle, and top it off as needed. Now that you've completed your repair, bring your car down to your local shop and have them recharge your AC system.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.